I'm one of those people who believes you can turn anything into a story, but some things are just ideas and not stories, right? In screenwriting, because a lot of people are saying, well, X amount of people watched it, it must be a story. Sure. For it to be an oration, right? For her to be giving us oral storytelling, absolutely. Is it a screenplay though? Nope. As is. No, it is not. Is it a TV pilot as is? No, it is not. And so I've had to explain to people who are not in the industry, which is hard to get them to understand, because at the end of the day, people watch what they watch, right? So all of the people who are not in the industry are watching and going, well, she was able to keep my attention. She's a great narrator. She's got great storytelling abilities. And I'm going, yeah, that's not the same thing as being able to write a screenplay. You need a protagonist who has a goal. That's the biggest thing. A goal to achieve or a problem they're trying to solve. I'm gonna pat my finger like this again. That's the biggest thing. You know what Risa Tisa doesn't have? A goal. You know why? She's fully participating in her story. So if you were to watch that on TV or on film, you would not only be bored because there's no place for the story to go because nothing's happening. She's not trying to do anything. Things are just happening to her. But that doesn't increase the stakes because she's not trying to do anything. You have to be trying to do something for there to be stakes. They could be at film festivals. They could be judging screenplay contests. They could be at other little events, especially if you live in Los Angeles. They could be at other little events. It's just like, go out there, meet them. Do not take your screenplay. Do not pass your screenplay out to people. It is the equivalent of emailing your screenplay out to people and then complaining that somebody stole your idea. Do not pass your screenplay around like you passing the peas like they used to do. Don't pass your screenplay around. You want them to ask for your screenplay, right? So you can talk to them about why you think they are good for the project and what the project is. No, you can't use more than one location in one slug. A slug line is a scene heading. The point is that you're telling the producers where this scene is taking place. It can't be taking place in more than one location. So if you mean that you're going to cut back and forth between two locations, that's still one slug line / scene heading, followed by whatever's happening in that scene, followed by intercut with, followed by the next scene heading, which is a totally different place, and what's happening in that place. And then you can go back and forth between the two. I've always wanted to be a writer. Always. I didn't know screenwriting existed, so I wanted to be an author at first. Then I found out about screenwriting and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. But when I went to film school, I realized how much I enjoyed helping other people write. I love it. I love it. I like to write. I love helping other people write. So I decided to go the development route. So I was a development executive at the Sci-Fi Channel. Eventually I left that to go do Broadway national tours. And then while I was doing that, I was still consulting on the side. And so when I came back to LA, I became a full-time consultant. If you have the time to be a content creator, social media can work for you because you have to be consistent for the algorithm to show it to anybody in the first place. That's the thing, as a writer, it's a little bit different because people don't necessarily like to read in the same way. So it's not necessarily about putting up your pages every single day. But maybe you could. Maybe it hits and becomes something because you put up a screenplay that you didn't mind other people reading and you put up 1 page a day. But will the algorithm show it to anybody? I don't know. Mentorship is one-on-one work with a story expert from idea to script or idea to pitch. We have 2 different packages. So that means every single week we're working through your script with literally starting at the idea. So we take you through all of the pre-work for you to understand who your character is, what the goals are. You do a beat sheet, you do an outline, then you start to write the script. When you write the script, you write 15 pages a week. So mentorship is for people who've been doing this a little bit, right? Because this is not for us to teach you how to write a screenplay, because then you'll fall behind on the deadlines. This is about people who've done this a little bit. They're trying to beef up their writing portfolio, or they know they have an opportunity to pitch coming up soon. They're starting from scratch and they want someone to guide them through it as an accountability partner, more so than it is teaching you what act structure is. If you don't know act structure, you don't need to sign up for mentorship, because you might get discouraged because it's moving so quickly. Coverage is not for writers. Coverage is not for writers. Coverage is not for writers. I don't care what company you went to and they told you coverage was for writers. No, it's not. Coverage is not for writers. Coverage is a document that was supposed to be in-house at studios, networks, production companies, where interns and assistants read the script first and then tell the executive or the producer through their coverage if they should bother to read it. So when I'm working with a production company or with a network or studio, they have a budget, right? A lot of individuals don't have a budget. Most of us are not trust fund babies. Most of us didn't save up X amount of tens of twenties of thousands of however many dollars to spend on somebody to write their screenplay. So usually when people are looking for that, they're looking to say, well, I'm gonna give it to you on the back end. Who told you there was going to be a back end? Who told you that? My bills don't have a back end. My bills need to be paid on the first. Inciting incidents cause the goal or cause the problem, right? The only reason we're here in this episode is to solve this goal. Is to reach this goal or solve this problem. Now, it might get us closer to an overall season goal, but there was something we were tracking in this episode. If you don't have an inciting incident, you don't have a goal. If you don't have a goal, your characters aren't being active towards something. So what are we watching in your episode? What are they doing? And why do we care about it? And why should we be invested in it? Because we can't track it. The first 15 pages gets you to the inciting incident. The second 15 pages explains what the goal is and what the debate is and gets you into Act 2. If you didn't give me an inciting incident, if I don't know what the goal is, if the people didn't debate about it, how do I know I'm in Act 2? You're just writing. You're just writing, but you don't know what you're writing for or writing towards. Getting into Act 2. The first 15 minutes is trial and error. It's about being active towards the goal. What is your character doing to try to reach the goal? Every episode is its own story. Every single one. Every episode you watch on TV, every feature film you watch is about a person who's trying to accomplish something. The inciting incident tells us something's happening. We now have to accomplish something. Every single time. If you don't have an inciting incident, you don't have a story. Like any other copyright claim, it has to be almost verbatim for somebody to prove that somebody stole something. So I'm not saying that they did or didn't steal it, but I am saying that it's going to be hard to prove it if they didn't steal it verbatim, because anybody can have the idea that your emotions are doing stuff inside you. It's about the execution of it, right? So if they took her characters, her world, her dialogue, her everything, then she's got a case. If it's only the idea, you can't prove that they got that from her script. The amount of scripts that come through that place, the amount of ideas that people come in there talking about, you can't even imagine. So who knows if it came from her script or somewhere else. Most people are only going to read 2 to 15 pages in the first place. Nobody is asking to see your script so they can read that whole thing. Nope. And again, I say this all the time. Most people don't like to read, but also they have a lot of scripts to read. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, they're not going to ask for anything to be added to their pile just because, unless it's a favor for somebody else, because your grandmama know her cousin. And so then they're like, yeah, send it my way. They ain't looking at that thing. It's going to sit right on their desk. And then at some point, they might look at like the first couple of pages, realize you don't know what you're doing, and then send you an email like, oh yeah, thanks for sending it over. It's going to be a pass for us. And then everybody's going to move on with their lives. But I doubt anybody's out there just trying to be nosy, child. They got a lot of time. They got more time than me. I know that's right. They can give me some of that time. That's what they can do. We can bargain on that. As we know, it's a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? You have to know somebody to get in, but if you don't know anybody, then you don't get in. That's just how it works. There are different companies that have like pitch fest. There are different companies that have one-on-one meetings with executives and producers and such where you can pitch. Does it ever take anybody anywhere? Yes. Does it mean that they sold something? No. Because again, it's about the relationship. You're really just trying to get opportunities to cultivate relationships. All kind of film festivals have Pitch Fest. Again, does it mean that they sold the thing that they pitched? No, but they got to meet with some people. They got some email addresses. Now they can stay in touch with those people. So, your best bet is to figure out where you can get in touch with the person you want to get in touch with. So what I always say is you have to do the research to know who you're looking for in the first place, because you're not just looking for anybody. And I think the biggest thing is to just be forward. And it's really tough because you don't want to be blackballed. And I'm not saying that you will be, but I'm saying that is something that we all often think about. You want to be able to give constructive feedback to anybody so they can understand why the relationship is ending, right? Versus just ghosting, even if it's, a romantic relationship. So you want to be able to talk to your manager about why you're ending the relationship. If you don't feel like it's a safe space to do it, then you can always just say that, we're on different pages. We don't understand each other or whatever. But at the end of the day, it should all look like a trial period to you. So going into it and going, okay, this person did X, Y, and Z, and they did this towards me. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay. But there could also be room for a conversation of, did you understand that when you did this, this is how it made me feel, or this is what I took it as. And if we're going to have a working relationship, then we need to be able to, talk through these things and be respectful. Right. So for example, this is a very on the nose example. A lot of people yell, curse, and throw things in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. Guess who you're not going to do that with? Me. I don't care if everybody else in this room thought it was not disrespectful for you to be yelling, cursing, and throwing things. Nah, we're not going to do that. Get on the phone. If you know that your email is going to have a tone, get on the phone, right? If you feel like you know this person well enough, or, you want to be that much more professional, meet with them in front of their faces so that you can have the conversation. What you don't want to do is send a message that's like, I'm not working with you no more. Goodbye. Right? Because now you look like the unprofessional one. So you want to make sure that you keep it professional on your side. You also want to make sure that there is no paper trail of you going off in an email.
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com.
The professional pen.
I'm out.